or because the
So for the week of March 11th, we are on the air. This is episode 12, which means we've got some traction now. And I was just telling these guys before we recorded, which I probably should have been recording as we're starting to tell stories, that we've gotten some emails, people wanting to hear some more stories. I think last week I had talked about my meeting Arnold Palmer.
Yep.
I've got 3 Arnold Palmer stories. I've met him and talked to him 3 times, but I think that's something people enjoyed. So for maybe not now as we start, but as we get going, maybe get into some. I'll just maybe throw a question out there. And
Well, it is good to hear that we are getting emails back to people who are listening, they're enjoying. And it's good if you guys do have thoughts and ideas of what you'd like to hear us talk about or stuff that you enjoy, let us know. We're happy to comply, and we're always looking for new ideas. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, pass the word to your friends too.
But let's start with the tour. I had made a prediction that Rory and Fitzpatrick would go into a playoff, and
Close?
that was not even close.
Was that about 11:30 Saturday night, or when did you make that prediction?
That was 11:30 Saturday night. And I didn't see Rory shooting even par, especially being the defending champ.
I will take credit for this. Last Wednesday, one of our members of the club asked who was going to win, and I did predict Rory.
Yeah.
Felt pretty good about it, but obviously he couldn't putt yesterday.
Yeah, he's just so weird. He's just struggles on Sundays. It seems like he does so well. Let's say Thursday, Friday, and then he'll hold his own on say Saturday, and he just disappeared yesterday.
It's weird because when he's at his best, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like he'll step on the gas on the
Yeah.
weekend. So I thought he was starting to hit on all cylinders as he moved into Sunday, and he just was flat.
I mean, it's not like he's not placing well, but everybody's used to him winning.
Yeah, I mean, a top 10's a top 10. People will take it. But I don't think a guy like him is content
Right.
with...
Not when he's playing in the final group.
No.
And he shoots 65 on Saturday.
No.
Yeah.
And what do you think about this Fitzpatrick kid? I think he's...
Fitzpa?
Yeah.
Did you go to Bay Hill?
No.
They had him up on the board. They couldn't
Fit his name.
fit him
Oh.
all day long. Who's Fitzpa? Who is this Fitzpa guy?
He's a good player. I talked to Tom, our buddy over in the UK, and he said he's the real deal.
Did he play in the Ryder Cup too?
Was Fitzpatrick on the Ryder Cup?
Might have been.
There was somebody yesterday that were
Yeah.
talking about one of the young
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
on the Ryder and had the experience there. Yeah.
Is it just me, or does he look like Rory? He's got that look, that nose. And,
I don't think I don't see Rory in him, but
Saying all
he
Scottish
is
people
young.
look alike? Is that what you're getting at?
No,
Okay.
no, all Europeans look alike.
Okay, there you go.
He was some. My prediction was Rory and Fitzpatrick in a playoff, and Rory taking it.
Mhm.
But who would have ever thought that Molinari would shoot a 8 under on the final day? I mean, they were struggling this week.
I'm gonna say it wasn't an easy day for many yesterday.
Well, Mitchell started out early. He put out that hot early. He put out
Yeah.
a score. And if you did look at the leaderboard, most of the leaders were all under par with the exception of Rory. And he was on the 15th, 16th hole. He was even par at that time. But it was still, there was not much wind. The greens did dry out and obviously got a little bit faster as far as holding and stuff like that. But there was scores to be made out there. Some of those guys were able to put it in. You see that kid Long drive the...
Yeah.
They said it bounced off the cart path to get there, but he drove the greenside bunker on 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and then
impressive.
chipped in.
And
And then
he
chipped
made it
in.
two. He
Yeah,
made
he
it
made it
two.
two.
Wow.
Yeah.
10's always been a hard hole to me. I've always thought that 10 was pretty hard. It's a very demanding tee shot for those guys. For us, it's a demanding approach shot, but for them, it's
Actually, I think it's more of a strategic tee shot. You saw Rory and some of the long hitters using irons on there. And even, even the guy with had the pleasure of pro-amming for on past Monday, he used like his hybrid. Thought being is 230, 240, take the bunkers out of play, you're middle of the fairway, it's not a super long shot in from there. And, sometimes a lot of players just overthink it and try to take off too much or be too much of a hero versus get to the fairway and get to your wedge.
You caddied on Monday.
Previous Monday, a week ago Monday.
Who'd you have in your group?
It was Rod Perry.
Nice.
Rod's
a good guy.
super good guy, and it was funny because
Really
he had
good
the
guy.
connection with the Golf Academy and knew some of the guys. and his swing coach is Nick Frontero.
Yeah.
So we were making the turn. We started on 4. The reason I got his bag was he didn't realize he needed a caddy for the event. So, and for those of you who don't know, on the Monday of the Arnold Palmer, they have a member pro fivesome that goes out. So the members bring associates, friends, whatever, and then they're assigned a pro, or they draft a pro, I guess they do the night before. And fortunately, they do need caddies for that. So there's volunteers through the academy and a lot of other avenues. It was great to see a lot of guys I hadn't seen in a while there. But they started us on 4. It's a shotgun start, and when we got to the turn, Rod didn't realize he needed a caddy. He thought it was carts, and he blah, 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 and his caddy was flying in, and he wasn't going to get there. So Rod had his staff bag, which was a little awkward to carry, to say the least.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, I actually felt like the little kid that tried to pick up his bag and was spinning around.
Yeah.
And then let me get that for you. No, I got it, really. It's about when we made the turn, we hit 10. That's where Nick joined us, and his caddy had gotten in by that time, so they walked with us through the last 11, 12 holes and all. It's a great day, awesome day, fantastic out there.
Rod's one of the really nice people in golf. I mean, I've known Rod for
Couldn't have
a
been
long
nicer.
time. And
Couldn't have been nicer.
great player too.
Very
Yeah.
good. Hey, I tell you what, and they had him hitting at the pro tee.
Yeah.
And those tees are way back. For
Oh,
those of you at home, when you're watching these guys hit and you're seeing them pasted at 350 or 320 and they're in the fairway in great position, blah, blah, blah. This guy is a professional golfer, and he hits around 260, 265 or so is what he carries. He can maybe step on it a little more. That 4th hole was playing a little bit uphill. They'd moved those tees way back. It was playing into the wind. He smokes his drive, and we walk up, and it looked like one of us hitting their drive, thinking you get all of it, and you're barely on the front of the fairway. It was.
I think that's the only thing that separates Rod from being able to play at that next level on a consistent basis. He's won the PGA National Championship a couple times.
Yeah.
Really good PGA professional player.
Mhm.
But I really think there's a huge misconception amongst amateur golfers, golf fans, that PGA pros or instructors can hang with the guys on tour, and it's night and day.
Oh,
some
yeah.
of them might be able to hang. I mean, but even Rod, as good as a PGA professional player as he is, he lacks exactly what you said.
Distance.
He lacks the distance.
Now his accuracy is very good.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was looking in his giant staff bag and going through. He's take whatever out you want. Those golf balls. I need 2 golf balls. That's it. Because I don't lose golf balls.
Mhm.
I hit it straight, which he did. But again, hitting a 2 hybrid 240 yards into the 9th hole after piping a perfect drive
Right.
is a lot different than seeing these pro guys, pulling out an 8-iron or a 9-iron, or watching Rory yesterday on the 16th par 5 hole, hitting 150 yards into the green on a second shot.
Unbelievable.
That's a little bit different than the average golfer, and even for a man who is a professional golfer, losing those 40, 50, 80 yards, whatever it may be.
I'm glad you brought up that hole, because to me that's always been a pivotal hole in the
Ask
tournament.
Tiger.
Yeah, but it's a very, very, by standards of the tour nowadays, very short par 5. It's a short par 5 for us.
Yeah,
It's pretty dangerous though.
I'm trying to think if I even recall any of the guys laying up.
No.
Unless they were in
No.
trouble
Right.
in the trees on the right, or maybe a bunk. Even some of the guys from the bunker were still going for it on their second shot. That is a cross water.
Right.
It's not long water. It is a cross water. Yesterday the pin was in front, and there was a lot of shots that were just landing on the front.
Yeah.
Giving guys good chances. The Eagles didn't see too many go in, but
Greens were firm. Probably the firmest they've been in an awful long time.
The course was in fabulous shape, and again, being really fortunate to walk inside, or literally walk the course, see it top to bottom, fantastic shape.
Right.
And when I walked across the driving range is as firm as most greens that you and I will play.
Wow.
I I was amazed at him walking across, going, is this like a rug over concrete? It was just, I mean, this is the driving range is in that great of shape.
What did Faraday said something on the telecast that it's like pulling fine felt over a table.
That's what it felt like. It was almost like, an AstroTurf carpeting type of thing. It was that type of firm on a driving range. That's not even the main part of the course.
Right.
And of course, their putting warm-up area, which they show on Morning Drive and the pregame shows and all that stuff. I mean, again, super smooth, huge, got that big clock in the middle. I mean, just, it's a fabulous.
I didn't get
fabulous
down
place.
there. Jordan and I were talking about that last week. You were thinking of maybe going Thursday. I didn't get down there, but I like some of the things I saw from the standpoint of the experience that they offer to the fans. The big, I think they called it the
Arnold
experience, the
Palmer
Arnold Palmer
Oh, yeah,
experience, showing the movies inside
Right,
and stuff,
right.
and just it's a classy event.
Yeah.
And that's why it's one of they were talking about 3 of the elevated tour events, which is Memorial, Arnold Palmer, and now the Genesis for Tigers event. So it carries more weight, and it's part of this Open Series. So, for example, Mitchell, I don't even think he knew, but he got into the Open Championship because of how he
That's
finished
qualification.
last week and
Right,
then combined
gotcha.
with this week. So it's and Arnie, you can't say anything that hasn't been said about him. But the vibe I've always gotten from going to Bay Hill has just been super, like,
I get chills.
yeah. But at the same time, it's real casual. You feel like at home when you're there.
There's no presumptuousness, nothing.
No,
There's
not
plenty
at
of
all.
room to walk around. Even the neighbors, that line the courses and houses. You see people having parties or friends over or setting up concession tables where they're selling the
Right.
waters and chips out of their backyard. One guy around 15, he had actually erected a platform out there or rented a platform. They had some tables and chairs and people were sitting up there watching the bend on 15, kind of
cool
overlooking
is that?
things.
That's awesome.
You get to 16 and 17 in the back behind 16 there. People all out, hanging out by their pool, but with their chairs faced toward
Right.
the course and just kind of getting the vibe of it. And everybody inside, super nice, super friendly. Just a fabulous weekend, fabulous event, really.
So you got out there yesterday,
I was out there on Saturday.
Saturday.
I was out there on Saturday.
And you caddied on Monday.
And I caddied on Monday. Yep.
I'm seeing more of this type of setup at tour events to make it an experience, and I think, I was listening to Michael Breed's show on Sirius XM the other day, and they were talking about what is a golfer, and people were calling in, and a lot of people were like, a golfer is someone that's serious about the game and passionate. And then some people were just saying, as somebody that's passionate about golf, and they don't even necessarily have to play all that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting kind of annoyed with the people that were saying that you have to be a scratch golfer or practice all the time. People's
Not at all.
definitions of what a golfer is just out there. So what do you consider a golfer?
I would consider a golfer just somebody that enjoys to play the game, whether it can be competitively, but it doesn't have to be. Just getting out to the course, enjoying the time on the course, whether it be alone with friends, and just enjoying the game as a whole, enjoying the scenery on the course, enjoying those
Yes.
aha moments that you have in your swing, and those, oh my God, I just made that chip shot. It's just having that appreciation for the game and enjoying every minute while you're experiencing the game.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good at it to be a golfer.
No, and it's a camaraderie going out with your friends. It's going to new courses, new locations. Having the opportunity to work on the other side of it. It's welcoming when people come play your course. You want to show off your best. You want to have a good experience. You want to share stories, of course, local knowledge, and experiencing that and going out to playing different places. That's what got me back into the game. We were talking earlier about our starting. Do we play high school and stuff like that? And I played it casually growing up through high school. Kind of gave it up around college, and after that, when I started doing working and stuff. But as I got older, I got back into the game, and it was really a friend's bachelor party. And we were going back to our local golf course that I grew up playing on. Our parents used to drop us off in the morning, and pick us up in the afternoon. And, you know, there was whatever it was, 20, 28 guys, 30 guys, and went out and smoking cigars and having a couple beers. And I remember sitting at one of the holes, like waiting and just looking around and go, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Like, this is an excuse to be outside. You have a set period of time where you don't have to be somewhere, you don't have to run off. Hey, I got to go take care of this. You're going to be here for this period of time, and you're hanging out with your friends, and you're enjoying it. And yes, you do. Feels good when you make the good shot, and you curse yourself when you make the bad shots. But the backside of it is you finish the day and you say, "Wow, that was a great day. It was a day well spent."
Yeah. And it's, to me, those folks that go to TPC Sawgrass and watch the players, or go to Bay Hill and they're just soaking up the experience.
Yeah.
I would even categorize them as maybe not as a golfer per se
They're
playing the game, but they're golf enthusiasts.
Yep.
Yeah,
and they can appreciate it.
yeah, and so from the business side, I think that we don't pay attention enough to the golf enthusiasts, because they are just as important in my mind as the people that play the game.
Well, and think about being here in Florida, where you've got golf courses embedded in a lot of communities.
Exactly.
And even folks that aren't playing or never played, the fact that they're choosing to live on a golf course or in a golf community, shows that they appreciate, well, obviously there's home value associated, but the beauty of it, the serenity of it, just it adds, you don't have to worry about your neighbors being right on top of you. It gives you some room. It gives you places to walk your dogs or ride your bikes. It's not that we encourage that, but it's really, I think that's a big part of it. And folks who go to the tournaments, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to walk the course, and again, everybody couldn't be in a better mood. I didn't hear anybody bad words talking. Everybody is just happy and enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I know for me, living on a golf course now, you appreciate the golf course even more when it's something that you look at every single day. And I think sometimes golf professionals or instructors take for granted the fact that they get to live this and breathe this and share those experiences with their customers. It's awesome.
I mean, being that you live over at the golf course, I still light up every time I come to visit and get to drive down by 10. Like, I just love that view going down by 10.
Yeah.
And every time. It doesn't matter if I've played this course or driven by it hundreds of times. It just, I tend to relax and just kind of, I look around and I look at all the golfers around, and it's nice to see.
It's funny, when I was a kid, big amusement park fan. And like when you're a kid, you drive past it. If you're not going to the amusement park or a carnival, and you see the rides and you see the lights, and you're looking, and oh my gosh, and you get all of that, and that's like how I feel with the golf course. Whenever I drive through a golf community, let's suppose I'm going to go play somewhere. As soon as I start making a turn, I'm going, oh, look at that hole over there. Wow, that looks pretty good. And then kind of go down there. Oh, look at that one. And again, even if I'm not playing it or passing it, you just get that excitement when you see. I remember driving through Rolling Hills,
Start picturing yourself,
which is a golf course that is closed here in Florida. And I was taking a back road home one day, and all of a sudden I'm just looking like, wow, this would be a great place for a golf course. Look at all that. And then, at some point I figured out, hey, this was a golf course. And even just the fact that you've got it laid out with the way it's routed, and just
And that
you're
was
imagining how you would play certain holes.
that was the golf course where I passed my player ability test.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They decided it was too easy after that? That's why they shut it down? Or?
Well, I won't tell you how many times I played a PAT there, but I finally passed my PAT there.
Okay.
Which kind of leads me to an email that I got from a gentleman that's...
Is it an email from listener?
No, well, yeah,
Oh, okay.
actually it is.
Nice.
But he's considering getting lessons for his son with me, and it really came from him listening to the podcast.
Interesting.
His son plays in our tournaments, a couple of our tournaments, and he said he was one of the ones that said he likes storytelling and likes seeing our perspective on things, being that we live and breathe this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it was interesting. I got an email from him this morning talking about him and I getting together with his son so we can kind of get on the golf course, play a little bit, and really find out, what type of people each other are. If it were a match, his son and I, for doing lessons. And he was never seen me hit a golf ball, but he's just assuming.
I've never seen you hit a golf ball either, so but go ahead.
But he's making that assumption that I think a lot of amateurs do, that because I wear this logo, or because you work as an assistant professional, or you work as an instructor, that he wants his son to see me hit a golf ball crisp and pure. And I almost went like this and cringed, because I don't know if I'm going to hit one crisp and pure.
Right.
So do you think the business has evolved so much that the amateurs still think that people that wear this or work in the industry play as much as we would like to play? And two, do they think that we're just automatically good players?
Yeah, I feel like as soon as somebody asks what I do and I tell them I'm a golf instructor, they immediately ask me what my handicap is.
Mm-hmm.
They automatically think that I'm going to have a low
You say
handicap.
putting?
Touche.
Yeah.
They automatically think that we're going to be good. And, I mean, can we be good? Yes.
Yeah.
But are we going to hit it perfect every time? No.
Yeah.
But
So I'm a little nervous going playing, because
Are you going to start practicing a little before you get out there?
I think I might have to.
Well, I think there's different levels. Listen, we are surrounded by golf all the
Right,
time, and
right.
naturally, therefore, you're surrounded by people who play golf. And even if they're, 20 handicaps or have only been playing for a year, they're still around the game and they're
Right.
still playing. And yes, and then on top of that, you do have a lot of very good players that we are surrounded with. So you forget that that's a very small part of the population.
Right.
And then, yes, when I would play or talk golf with friends or people that don't really play very often or play twice a year, they're impressed with your 83.
Right.
They're impressed with you sticking the green from 100. I had a friend that was impressed with the fact that my ball actually curved a little bit and started to the side. Oh my God, you got a beautiful draw. Actually, it's a fade at the time, but so you forget some of that stuff. So
Yeah.
these guys, are you going to go out every single time and shoot, 72 or 68? No, the professionals shoot 78. The
Yeah.
professionals, but you will during the round show at some point, hey, it's in you.
Right.
You'll make that shot. You'll rope a couple drives. You'll sink a 25-foot putt.
Because
Yeah.
Unfortunately, or fortunately,
Maybe
however
not
you
you,
want to
but-
look at it,
I hit a long putt the last time I was.
Oh, nice.
putting's the only thing that I have. So
Right.
not hitting the ball. I'm not good. Although the scramble we played in, I hit the ball fairly well.
Mhm. Yeah, but also think about it too. Is sometimes your best golf is your most boring golf.
True.
I'm going to hit it, listen, if you're not playing 7,200 yards and you're playing appropriate tees, hey, I'm going to hit a 230, 240, 250-yard drive down the middle 11 out of 14 times. The other 3 times it's going to be a little right or a little left. I'm going to take my next shot. I'm going to put it somewhere on the green or somewhere around the green, and then from there in 2 shots I'm going to get down.
Yep.
And next thing you know, after 9 holes, you got 7 pars and 2 bogeys, and someone's going to look at you and go, wow, that's didn't really look like you were doing a whole lot there.
So what's
I think that's myself every time that happens to me. Like, we're making the turn and I'm 2 over.
Yeah.
I felt like I played terrible.
Right.
But you don't even realize you're making these pars, just
Yeah.
getting up and down, and all of a sudden you're halfway through the round and you're actually playing pretty well.
Well, and I think a lot of that is expectations too, as you get better and better.
True.
I found
Yeah,
myself
yeah,
a couple
definitely.
years ago realizing I had reached another plateau because I was getting angry on my approach shots that I wasn't sticking it right near the green. And after about the 3rd or 4th time doing it, I actually got up, and my friend looked at me and goes, "You're on the green. What are you?" I'm like, "You're right. Like, I'm thinking I should be
Next to the hole.
next to the hole, good birdie opportunities, but in fact I'm 20 feet away, but pin
Still a good
high or
opportunity.
side or on the line and behind, it's still on in regulation, and
I think kind of what may separate golf professionals, not PGA Tour professionals, is that we know how to play the game, which is different than
Mhm.
execution. The guys on tour can do both.
Right.
They from a technical standpoint and from playing the game. We, on the other hand, may not have the technical aspects down obviously as good as those guys do, but from the playing standpoint, just like you said, you may think you're going around just hacking the crap out of it all day long, and then you look at the scorecard at the tournament, it's a 41, a 40, a 38, 36. So there's a big difference between playing the game and being able to, from a technical standpoint, be on plane coming down and perfect at impact, and I think that's where we shine over others, over amateurs.
Well, there's definitely a knowing how to play the game.
Yeah.
When you do play with somebody who's a 20 handicap or something like that, there's a reason why, and part of it is you're watching them and you're like, why are you doing that?
Decisions.
I'm looking at this
decision-making.
decision you're making here, and I'm like, what are you? You're 250 yard out, and you've got a 3-wood in your hand that you could hit 200 at best,
Right.
and you're putting water and a bunker in play.
Mhm.
Like, what? Hey,
Yeah.
where you and I would see a ball, and immediately someone, oh, you got to go. I'm like, I know what I'm doing here.
Right.
I know my play.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears for a second, because there was an event this weekend, Symetra Tour. Did you caddy at any of the Symetra Tours
No.
that they had at Legacy?
Did not.
Or not Legacy, at Alco Lakes. Anyway, Symetra Tour, for those that don't know, it's kind of the rookie league, minor league of the LPGA Tour.
Yep.
The girls typically don't play for all that much money.
Mhm.
They're staying as guests in homes of people that
Interesting.
live in the local area. It's not an easy living, but it's all for making it good enough on that tour to get to the next
Jump
step.
up. Yep.
So they had a tournament, the Sky Eye Golf Championship, down in Northport, just south of Sarasota, at a course that a friend of mine, I think Rich Smith, spoke at GAA when you were there. He was the former executive director. They had a sponsor's invite this week for a young lady named Alexa Pano. She was the star in the movie The Short Game. I know you saw that,
Yep.
which was many years ago, but that's where her fame came
I
from.
saw The Big Short.
Yeah.
Different movie.
Different movie.
Okay.
Yeah, different movie. And she's a superstar, 14-year-old now, who just happens to be 6 foot tall, which is like ridiculous for a 14.
You sure she's 14?
Hits the ball 260, 270.
What?
So anyway, she was going into Sunday tied for the lead in the Symetra Tour.
Would you call her a prodigy?
I would say that she is a prodigy.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was cool to, and Rich is a friend of mine, and they started this company, Sky Golf, to really enhance the golf experience, help clubs become better. But they had signed on with the LPGA Tour, Symetra Tour, to host this event, first year event, highest purse they've ever played for, $250,000 purse. Which for the girls that play this, that's
a lot of
considerable.
money.
I think the first place check was like 31,000 and change.
And these girls have sponsors?
Some
some
do,
do,
some
some don't.
don't.
Okay.
They can play. I mean,
Yep.
12 under 1.
Right.
But unfortunately for Alexa Pano, she shot 1 over on Sunday.
Mhm.
So she faded a little bit. It was
Okay.
still a T8, I believe.
Mhm.
But let's focus on that for a minute. There's a lot of kids that are super elite players out there, and you sometimes wonder what, in our sport at least, what's the right direction for those types of kids to go? Is it going to college, playing collegiately, or, which is different with golf, like tennis? Tennis is the same type of way. If you're really good as a 13, 14, 15-year-old,
Mhm.
do you forego the college experience, or do you chase the opportunities? And the tour has put some regulations in place on minimum age and things
Mhm.
like that, especially the LPGA Tour. Michelle, we kind of changed all that for
Right.
them. Lexi Thompson, Brooks Henderson. So what do you guys think on a direction for a really proven, solid junior golfer, female or male? What's the right direction for them to go?
I mean, I think it's probably more so a case-by-case basis.
Sure.
I think college would be a good stepping stone for the competitive aspect,
Mhm.
getting used to those big moments and stuff like that in
Right.
different tournaments. And even though golf is an individual sport, it's having the pressure of being there for your team as well in
Mhm.
college,
Mhm.
which can help when you have pressure in single events on the next stage. But I think that if the junior is playing in the right events as a junior, that they'll get that experience anyway.
Mhm.
So it really does just depend on a case-by-case basis, at least.
Would you agree? Case by case, for sure.
Well, case by case for sure. I mean, some kids if you're going into a sport like tennis or golf, you're not afraid of being an individual.
Right.
You know, it's not, you're not looking for a team, and some kids gravitate more towards that or do better in those situations. To answer your question, I think it comes down to coaching. I think it's getting to the spot that gives you the best coaching. Tons of kids, tons of people have worlds of potential. It's who can get that potential out of you. And it's not just making you a better golfer, as we alluded to just before. You can have all the tools, but maybe you don't have the right mental makeup. Maybe you're too emotional. Maybe maybe you're too down, you know, you make a mistake, it just beats on you, blah, blah, blah. So the where you get the coaching from, and you see a lot of it, is parents, kids, not always the best, because
Yeah.
they've got to leave and they've got to separate. You've got to take away from that because some of you don't take that direction, or you have other things that you carry to the course with you.
Mhm.
But I think that to make that decision as a youngster, where are you going to get that coach, and how are you going to develop? Because talent is great, but that talent alone is not going to win you. That needs to be developed, it needs to be nurtured, it needs to be refined. And, you know, where can you get that from?
That's a really good point, because, you know, I see different dynamics with all the different students I work with privately. Wayne Tulsky, his son Noah, Wayne's a really good golfer, and you would think that a father that's a single-digit handicapper
Mm-hmm.
that really knows the game would be more involved in the process.
Right.
But he's made a conscious decision
Stay
to
away.
be dad
Yeah.
and stay away and let whoever he's paying to coach the kid
Mhm.
do his thing. So
Right.
when he comes up here for lessons on Sunday, Wayne stays up here and chips and putts
Yeah.
as we go to the back
Just
and
sends
work
them
on
off
the
and
swing.
does his thing. Well, and there's part of that too is you can't have two coaches,
No.
which you see all the time, where
Yeah.
if you're telling your kid something and the mother or the dad's behind you mouthing this or saying that, it's one thing to say, here's what we worked on, you saw it, make sure they practice it like this, versus, you know, you get that other influence. But the flip side is he's just kind of saying, you know what,
I trust you.
I'm paying for a coach, and I'll help him emotionally. I'll help him. Hey, what'd you learn today? Hey, you
Right.
did this. How do you feel? Kind of the maturing side of it, but the technical side, you leave that to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he has anything to say from a technical standpoint, he'll keep that between him and I.
Correct.
And it's nothing that the student can see. I think that's an awful thing to do to that relationship between a coach and a student and the parent, is
The
to
parent second guess you in front of the
Yes.
student.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
yeah, and that happens all the time too.
Mm.
Look, I said something on that first video vlog or whatever that I did the other day and started doing that. It's a process, and I know you heard this to death at the GAA, but it really is a process. If you're going to commit to trying to get better at this game, you can't day one think that on day two all your problems are going to be solved after
Mhm.
that initial lesson.
Or you can't think because you do it once, it's going to repeat every time.
Yeah,
Right,
because it's too complex of a game, and there's too many dynamics that go way beyond, like we were talking about before, go way beyond the technical aspects. And it's the temperament, especially for a kid that's all over the map emotionally. But it's the playing of the game, and literally it's a game that you can play for a lifetime, but you'll never master it.
Right, it's going to be a process.
You'll have your
through-
days.
Right,
Sure,
through,
yeah, we
through
all do.
your whole life in golf. It's going to be a process because, like you said, you were watching me last week on the range,
Mm-hmm.
and I was struggling. But like we've played a couple times recently, and I've shot pretty well.
Yeah.
There's days where you're going to have that swing, and there's days where you're not going to know what's going on, and it's just sticking to the process and getting back to different basics and getting back into that process to keep it there.
Well, and that's where good coaching comes in, is it gives you that base and that, hey, all of a sudden I'm leaving my ball out, that's not my swing, let's get back to the turn, what my coach told me, get back to the base. And again, that's where kind of the parents can help in that sense of, hey, remember what your coach told you, hey, remember you were practicing this the other day, blah, blah, blah. Not, hey, let me take a look at you, let me kind
Right.
of move you around.
There's nothing worse. There's two things that coaches hate. It's when you work on something one week, you give them things to do throughout the week, you meet the next week,
And they haven't practiced.
and they haven't practiced.
You mean like my piano teacher?
Yeah. You played piano?
As a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a piano in the house.
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
But they,
That you didn't
just like
practice on.
just like a golf coach, they could tell if you from one week to the next actually practiced, or if you just took the lesson and as soon as they left, you played for 15 minutes,
Mhm.
and then you didn't touch it again until the following week.
And the second thing that at least frustrates me is if they are putting in the work, or putting in, I'm not going to say the work, but they're putting
Some
in work during the
they
week.
have to follow the instruction or what you.
I use this thing, Coach Now, with my kids, and they send me video throughout the week of stuff they're working on. And when I say stuff that they're working on, it's not necessarily the stuff that I asked them to work on.
Right.
Look, some of these kids are going to watch this, and I don't want them to think that I'm not happy about their progress, or I don't, appreciate them as my students. But it is a little disheartening as a coach to say, here's the drills I want you to do for this
Mhm.
week, and there's a purpose behind this.
Right.
Trust me. And then you see what they're working on, and they weren't
Right.
doing what we talked about the previous lesson.
Right.
And I think it's not, it's because they're young, and they can't see that there's a bigger picture that
Hey,
we're working
It's
slowly
not just young
towards.
though. It happens across the board.
Yeah, I don't work with a lot of adults anymore.
We spoke about this at GAA. It's like, you can practice all the time,
Yeah,
but there's a difference between good practice and
Just
practicing
golf
your
balls.
same bad habits.
Mhm.
And last week I happened to look out the window. I was watching one of the guys on the range, and just a horrible swing and hitting the ball and slamming his club. And I'm kind of looking at it and going, what are you trying to accomplish here? What are you practicing? You're practicing really bad habits.
yeah.
And you're not doing anything different than you did when you walked in. But what you were just talking about with the kids, and a great coach or a great teacher is, I'm not going to give you the beautiful, full, extended swing, backswing. I'm going to give you a little drill that's going to work on a
Exactly.
piece of it.
Yeah.
And if you work on that, all right, then next week we'll work on this. And the next week we'll work on that. And you'll build that swing, and
Would-
you'll build that repeatable.
But that's hard. That's
But it's
hard.
boring.
It's hard for anybody, but let alone a kid who's instant. And this
Tiger
day and
Woods
age.
talks about it. He used to hate the stop drill.
Yeah.
Yep.
He used to do, here and then here and here, and he said, you watch interviews with him. I hated it, but I had to do it for hours and for hours and for hours. And listen, he's obviously different mentality and a different desired outcome there. But sometimes that drills aren't meant to be easy and fun. And if you're going to change something, do something different, it will feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
It will. You'll sit there and go, oh, I just want to swing away, and maybe you
Right.
swing one or two in there, but then you get back to your drill.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you're doing it. It's to condition the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, final thoughts, because this has been a good discussion. And I'm
Hopefully.
glad we got the video rolling, and it hasn't stopped halfway through like it did last
Right.
week.
Glad the time is right too.
Yeah.
On the clock. Yeah.
Is
Thought
it?
I was early for a minute.
We are live here in the River Room, by the way. The River Room.
It was a challenge to get here today, wasn't it, Gary?
Dude, my whole rhythm was thrown off when Wawa was closed.
You went to 7-Eleven?
Well, it was interesting because after Wawa was closed, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? And then let me go to Argos and I'll get something to go, and I got it, and I said no, and then I turn around and there's Wendy's, and maybe they got bread. No, they don't have bread. So I'm like, oh, I was completely.
Taco Bell has breakfast.
I don't use this word often, but I was flummoxed.
That's today's word of the day. What's the definition?
Well, just out of sorts. I didn't know what decision to make next. And part of it is not so much it's what's on the way, and do I really want to eat that, or you have your heart set. I knew exactly
You
what I
knew
was
what
going to
you
do at
wanted.
Wawa's. I was getting my muffin. I was getting my iced coffee. I have the app on my phone was up and ready to go, and they're like, not today. So go find something else there.
I'm sorry. I'm
Interesting.
sorry you had to go through
God,
that.
on a Monday, how do they do that to people?
Any last thoughts, Jordan?
Selfish.
I just want to say, Gary, thanks for coming again today.
Oh,
We
pleasure,
always
guys.
appreciate it.
Pleasure.
To our listeners, hope you enjoyed this episode. Keep reaching out to us. We enjoy hearing what you have to say, and we will see you next time.
Yep, love the links. Check us out on Facebook,
Thanks, guys.
Instagram, and send us an email over the links at gmail.com.
Love of the Lakes.
Oh, we have a YouTube channel now too, by the way.
What?
Yeah, check it out.
What's YouTube?
Love of the Links.
Okay. Is that a place you can post videos?
It is.
Nice. Great idea.
All right, thanks everybody.
Nice.
40 minutes.